I'm kind of threat oriented anyway. So people with my kind of personality are like sort of always looking for, the big bad thing that's coming, the asteroid or the nuclear war, the AI, slavery. But I know some pretty smart people very smart people who are much closer to the heart of AI development who also have these concerns. And I think a lot of the public shares these concerns.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say before soliciting your view of it, much better informed view of it, is that there's been surprisingly and tellingly little conversation about the upside of AI.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, it's like, this is happening. And if we don't do it, China will. I think that's probably true. But like, why should I be psyched about it? Like, what's the upside for me?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Normally when some new technology or huge change comes, the people who are profiting from like, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. You're not going to ever have to do X again. You just throw your clothes in a machine and press a button and they'll be clean.
Yes.
I'm not hearing any of that about AI.
That's a very astute observation. And I'll exactly tell you why. And to tell you why, it's like a little bit of a long story because I think there is a organized effort to scare people about AI.
Organized,
yes. And so this starts with a mailing list in the 90s. Is a transhumanist mailing list called the Extropians. And these Extropians, I might have got it wrong, Extropia or something like that, but they believe in the singularity. So the singularity is a moment of time where AI is progressing so fast, or technology in general progressing so fast that you can't predict what happens. It's self-evolving, and it just all bets are off. We're entering a new world where you just can't predict it.
Where technology can't be controlled.
Technology can't be controlled. It's going to remake everything, and those people believe that's a good thing because the world now sucks so much, and we are imperfect and unethical and all sorts of irrational, whatever. And so they really wanted to, for the singularity to happen. And there's this young guy on this list. His name's Eliezer Yudkowsky. And he claims he can write this AI. And he would write like really long essays about how to build this AI. Suspiciously, he never really publishes code, and it's all just prose about how he's going to be able to build AI. Anyways, he's able to fundraise. They started this thing called the Singularity Institute. A lot of people who were excited about the future kind of invested in him. Peter Thiel, most famously, and he spent a few years trying to build an AI. Again, never published code, never published any like real progress. And then came out of it saying that not only you can't build AI, but if you build it, it will kill everyone. So he kind of switched from being this optimist, singularity is great, to like actually AI will for sure kill everyone. And then he was like, okay, the reason I made this mistake is because I was irrational. And the way to get people to understand that AI is going to kill everyone is to make them rational. So he started this blog called Less Wrong. And Less Wrong is like walks you through steps to becoming more rational. Look at your biases, examine yourself, sit down, meditate on all the irrational decisions you've made and try to correct them. And then they start this thing called Center for Advanced Rationality or something like that, CFAR. And they're giving seminars about rationality. But the intention...
What's a seminar about rationality? What's that like?
I've never been to one, but my guess would be they will talk about the biases or whatever. But they have also like weird things where they have this almost struggle session like thing called debugging. A lot of people wrote blog posts about how that was demeaning and it caused psychosis in some people. 2017, that community, there was like collective psychosis. A lot of people were kind of going crazy. And it is all written about it on the internet.
Debugging, so that would be like kind of your classic cult technique.
Yeah.
Where you have to strip yourself bare, like auditing in Scientology or...
Yes.
I mean, it's very common. In fact,
yes. Yeah. So
it's a constant in cults.
Yes.
Is that what you're describing?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I read on these accounts.
Yeah.
They will sit down and they will like audit your mind and tell you where you're wrong and all of that. And it caused people huge distress. And young guys all the time like talk about how going into that community has caused them huge distress. And there were like offshoots of this community where there were suicides, there were murders, there were a lot of really dark and deep shit. And the other thing is like they kind of teach you about rationality, they recruit you to AI risk, because if you're rational, you're a group, we're all rational now. We learned the art of rationality. And we agree that AI is going to kill everyone. Therefore, everyone outside of this group is wrong, and we have to protect them. AI is going to kill everyone. But also they believe other things, like they believe that polyamory is rational, and everyone that
polyamory,
you can have sex with multiple partners, essentially.
But they think that's. I mean, I think it's certainly a natural desire if you're a man to sleep with more and different women, for sure. But it's rational in the sense, how? Like, you've never met a happy polyamorous long term. I've known a lot of them, not a single one. So how is it?
It might be self-serving.
You think?
To recruit more impressionable people into...
Yeah, and their hot girlfriends.
Yes.
Right.
So
that's rational?
Yeah, supposedly. And so they convince each other of all these cult-like behavior. And the crazy thing is, like, this group ends up being super influential because they recruit a lot of people that are interested in AI, and the AI labs and the people who are starting these companies were reading all this stuff. So Elon, famously read a lot of Nick Bostrom as kind of an adjacent figure to the rationality community. He was part of the original mailing list. I think he would call himself a rational part of the rational community. But he wrote a book about AI and how AI is going to kill everyone, essentially. I think he moderated his views more recently, but originally he was one of the people that are kind of banging the alarm. The foundation of OpenAI was based on a lot of these fears. Like, Elon had fears of AI killing everyone. He was afraid that Google was going to do that, and so they, group of people. I don't think everyone at OpenAI really believed that, but some of the original founding story was that, and they were recruiting from that community. So much so when Sam Altman got fired recently, he was fired by someone from that community. So someone who started with effective altruism, which is another offshoot from that community.
Really?
And so the AI labs are intermarried in a lot of ways with this community, and so it ends up they kind of borrowed a lot of their talking points. But by the way, a lot of these companies are great companies now, and I think they're cleaning up house.
But there is, I'll just use the term. It sounds like a cult to me.
Yeah.
It has the hallmarks of it in your description.
Yeah.
And can we just push a little deeper on what they believe? You say they are transhumanists.
Yes.
What is that?
Well, I think they're just unsatisfied with human nature, unsatisfied with the current ways we're constructed, and that we're irrational, we're unethical, and so they start. They long for the world where we can become more rational, more ethical by transforming ourselves, either by merging with AI via chips or what have you, changing our bodies, and like fixing fundamental issues that they perceive with humans via modifications and merging with machines.
It's just so interesting because, and so shallow and silly, like a lot of those people I have known are, not that smart actually, because the best things, reason is important, and we should, in my view, given us by God, and it's really important, and being irrational is bad.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, the best things about people, their best impulses are not rational.
Mm-hmm. I believe so too.
There is no rational justification for giving something you need to another person.
Yes.
For spending an inordinate amount of time helping someone, for loving someone. Those are all irrational. Now, banging someone's hot girlfriend, I guess that's rational. But that's kind of the lowest impulse that we have, actually.
We'll wait to hear about effective altruism. So they think our natural impulses that you just talked about are indeed irrational. And there's a guy, his name is Peter Singer, a philosopher from Australia.
The infanticide guy.
Yes.
He's so ethical, he's for killing children.
Yeah, I mean, so their philosophy is utilitarianism is that you can calculate ethics,
Yeah.
and you can start to apply it, and you get into really weird territory. Like, if there's all these problems, all these thought experiments. Like, you have two people at the hospital requiring some organs of another third person that came in for a regular checkup. Or they will die. You're ethically you're supposed to kill that guy, get his organ, and put it into the other two. And so it gets. I don't think people believe that per se. I mean, but they, but there's so many problems with that. There's another belief that they have.
But can I say that belief or that conclusion grows out of the core belief, which is that you're God. It's like a normal person realizes, sure, it would help more people if I killed that person and gave his organs to, a number of people. Like, that's just a math question.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
But I'm not allowed to do that because I didn't create life. I don't have the power. I'm not allowed to make decisions like that.
Yes.
Because I'm just a silly human being who can't see the future and is not omnipotent because I'm not God.
Yeah.
And I feel like all of these conclusions stem from the misconception that people are gods.
Yes.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.